Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the situation report or the summary for the day of 955 for the 5th of October. This mapping is the black map. No, long time no see the black map, right? So yeah, I received a feedback from Millennium 7 that he suggests that there should be this small little cursor mapping to show where we are in Ukraine. The problem with this one, the normal reporting we don't have is because the Google My Maps don't have this feature. So whatever you're seeing here, this is actually a custom built API, custom built mapping that I've done. But there is, of course, still lacking certain features like measuring distance. So no, I don't have that. So anyway, we will try to do this in today's. The great thing about this one is that I can actually show you terrain. And for example, we can not just this, but this is, of course, we can already see that in the Google My Maps. But I can actually show you exactly what it looks like on the ground. For example, near Tiahinka, what Tiahinka look like? You do not know, right? So I show you what Tiahinka look like. It looks like this. Come on, go in. Don't embarrass me. Goodness. Yeah, I'm being embarrassed right now. So it's not listening to me. So yeah, for example, we can actually jump into the map and see some of this terrain. You can see this like a tree line. So it's loading. So it is like a forest. You can imagine you are a soldier hiding inside these kind of places. So yeah, that's the good thing about this custom built mapping. Anyway, we will go into the custom front first. We'll do counterclockwise. So let me draw out the map. So yeah, brought out my arrows. So you go this direction. So we start with the custom front first. So with the custom front, we have just shelling reports from the Russian Defense Ministry with shelling reported at Pridniprovsk as well as Sadove. So these are the only two that we have saw shelling reported. Otherwise, that's all we have from the Kherson front. We move into the Zaporizhia front. At the Zaporizhia front, I just noticed this mapping slightly different, that this also do not have the fortification mapping. If I put in the fortification, the map will lag a lot more. So yeah. So anyway, this is just a trial run for today. So let's see how this goes. Anyway, so over in the Zaporizhia front, we have fighting reported at the Orikhiv sector, with fighting reported towards Orikhiv and towards Novodanilivka. So that's about it from this area here. There's nothing particularly very special about the reporting around here. We move into the Velika Novosilka sector of the Donetsk front. This is Velika Novosilka. Fighting is reported at Levatne as well as towards Zolota Neva. So that's all. The Russians still have not captured Zolota Neva. So after all this hype and what we have been I've anticipated that Zolota Neva might have fallen within a week since, and it has been 2-3 weeks, so it did not happen. We go into the Voleda region. So over in this Voleda Konstantinivka region, Russian forces are fighting in the region of Voleda towards Bohov-Yevlenka, Katerinivka, Konstantinivka, and Antonivka. So the Russians are really making some serious pushes around here. And particularly, we have frontline changes over in Voleda, where the Russian forces have captured this tree line around here. So this entire area is now captured. It's unlikely that there is Ukrainian forces in this pocket, because it would easily be encircled, and it's unlikely because from the intelligence that we can gather, the defenders, that the entire battalion or brigade that was defending Voleda is like 80-90% wiped out. There's too few soldiers left to actually be any form of resistance. So I don't think there is any credible resistance around this area. We're going to see some rapid frontline changes around this area as we move towards Bohov-Yevlenka. So that's probably what we are looking at. So that's all from this area. The battle around the Konstantinivka region is heating up, with fighting reported towards Konstantinivka, Antonivka, and in the region of Konstantinivka. So the Russians are now pushing in all different directions. So that's very interesting to me. So anyway, that's all from this area here. We move further up north, over in the Kurakove sector. At the Kurakovo region, we have fighting reported at Hostre, Maximilianivka, and Georgievka. So that's about it from this area. There's nothing much around here. I believe there is some geolocation of some imagery of Kurakovo. So this is how it looks like pre-war. Very sleepy village. It looks nothing like a fortress. In this region, this looks like a substation kind of thing. So yeah, I mean we can take a look with a few other places. Let's say this district. So this is snowing. So probably by the time battle comes to Kurakovo, who knows? This might be actually what we'll be looking at. Fully snow covered Kurakovo. Very World War II-ish feeling. If you ask me, this what I know all the war films, right? Along this junction, at Kurakovo, this is another imagery. Oh my God, this is very trippy. Yeah. So this is when the Earth is really tiny, like a small little asteroid. This is how Earth will look like, very tiny. Yeah, very disorientating. And so I think do we have anything on the river side? So all the way on the western side, we can see a little bit different. This is more probably like summer. It's still loading. So there is a lot of variety of terrain that is going to be battled around here. Super blur. Okay, it's loaded now. So you can see this is more like a park region. This is on the western part of Kurakovo. So yeah, I probably think that there will be some trenches already dug around here, and yeah, so some interesting insight into how it looks like. This is the benefit of the mapping. Do we I don't think we have any. Okay, so just to take a look at the bridge. Do we have the bridge? This is the water body. Opposite this is Kurakovo, and this is the bridge leading to Kurakovo. I'm not sure if the bridge is still intact at this moment. So this is the water body that is defending the northern part of Kurakovo. So very, very interesting. You can see, you can just imagine you are a DRG and then you're hiding in the bushes, trying to look over on the other side. So otherwise, anyway, this is just an interesting note for this. So we move up to the Hernik region. And the Hernik region, Russian forces are fighting in the region of Zeleny Pershi through the western part of Nevelsky. The Russian Defense Ministry announced the capture of Zeleny Druhi. And fighting is reported at Hernik, Izmailivka. So Izmailivka is like the first time we have the reports of fighting in this area according to the Ukrainians. So this is the Ukrainians that they're talking about this. And the Russians are fighting in Sukhariny. The Ukrainian mapping, I believe, let me check. I have to check the other map because I can't click this over this area here. So Ukrainian mapping have shown that the Russian forces have advanced in the entire region east of Zeleny Pershi. So they have made some progress around here. And there is also the collapsing Sukhariny region, with Russian forces now taking the entire eastern part of Sukhariny already, and the entire northern outskirt has already fallen to the Russians. So so that's the situation. I believe that by now, things have probably gotten worse by now as per this recording. So and yeah, so let's see. It's interesting that the Russians announced the capture of Zeleny Druhi, because we don't have the mapping to reflect that. So and the fighting report at Izmailivka is something that I've already mentioned before in speculation, because this looks like the good way to force the Ukrainians into some kind of panic, because they will not be able to withdraw westward. They will have to go down and to escape, as the Russian forces probably is now moving closer and closer from all directions. So let's see how this continue to develop. Over at the Seledove region, fighting is reported within Seledove. There is not much news around here. Some geolocation west of Horodivka, which confirms the Russian presence around here. We move into the Horodivka region. So this is Pokrov, and the Russian forces are pushing in multiple directions around here. They're fighting at Lysivka, Krutia, towards Promin, probably from Mykolaiivka region, and in the region of Horodivka. So the Russians are pushing in all these various directions. So so that's all from this area. If you want to take a look at Pokrovsk, how it looks like, Pokrovsk, in the middle of Pokrovsk, yeah, this is how it looks like. There's beautiful churches, beautiful streets, and by now it's probably a lot of rubbles. These children are not here. I'm not even sure when is this photo taken. Yeah, so some of these guys maybe already fought in the Ukrainian army and died. Yeah, some disaster thing. The kids are probably all living in Western Ukraine right now. So, but this is this reality of war. You see all this side. This is history now. That's why don't have war unnecessarily. So don't go to war. Yeah, but what can I say? So anyway, that's the situation around here. Let me know what you think in the comment, or you can tell me how you recommend me to use these features. I think it's interesting, but it's not complete because I don't have the layers that I usually have on the Google My Maps that I can scroll through. And that's a problem. I cannot measure distance at this moment. So, and the layering also didn't appear on top. As you can see, the Russian the Ukrainian capture or Russian capture mapping is below. So it's a bit harder to see. So anyway, we shall see how this goes. Over in the northern sector of the Pokrovsk front, there is only fighting reported at Novotoretsk. But that's all we know of. That's all we have. And we move further into the New York front. And in New York front, the fighting is primarily over in the Thorex region. So this area here, Russian forces are fighting in the region of Thorex, Druzhba, as well as Dashne. So the Russians are still talking about Druzhba. So the Russian Defense Ministry mentioned Druzhba. The Ukrainians are the one that's mentioning Dashne. So that's the difference between the two. Seriously, Dashne is by the Ukrainian command. And there's shelling reported at Klebanbik. So that's all. The Russian front line right now is still in the center of Thorex. And this is a high-rise building zone. And you want to see how it looks like, maybe we can take a look at the high-rise zone. This is near the front line. We can't really tell. This is the garden. There's some park here. So this is the middle of Thorex. Let's take a look at somewhere in the middle. Do we have somewhere in the middle of Thorex? So maybe this one, or this inside. So this classroom is definitely gone. There's the Ukrainian flag. This classroom is definitely gone already at this moment because this is the front line. And so I think there's another one, this one. So this is snowy, but this is definitely the wrong place. No, this is mapped in the wrong place. This looks nothing like Thorex. I have no idea what the hell is this. So yeah, some interesting things. I like to look at this. Yeah, this is also part of the park. So we have this building, and then yeah. So the high-rise building doesn't look really that high. It doesn't look super high. It looks like it's just 4 stories. So it's not as high as I imagine it to be, just looking at this mapping. So yeah, so let's see. Just now we were looking from this position. This is that interesting the hall-like building, and then this is a low rise. So it's only 4-story high, so it's not that high. So maybe this over here are a bit higher. So but I don't have any Google Maps, Google Earth thing to see. So that's all from this area. Anyway, it's interesting because I personally also don't dig so deeply, usually. So it's sometimes it's hard to put our mind into put some context into how the battlefield looks like. So anyway, in the southern flank of Bakhmut, fighting is reported towards Bilakhora and Stuposhki. So that's all from this area here. There's nothing particularly special. The front line is at Stuposhki looks like this. This one of the lakes. Someone rode a bike here, so you can see how the terrain is very very flat. A lot of plantation plants. This is basically where I was looking at this lake. So that's the battleground that they are fighting at this moment at Stuposhki. So over in the Chasivya region, Russian forces are fighting at Kharkovka, Kalinina, and Chasivya. So that's about it. There's nothing particularly new appearing in this area here per se. So and yeah, so that's all. I want to take a look at this area here. So what is this? Yeah, there's some yeah. So the hilly region around Stupovsky, this is the hilly region. I said that it's really complicated to fight at. So you can kind of tell, yeah, a lot of sniper positions I can imagine. Extremely troublesome to fight around here in these areas here. So yeah, this is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, we move further up to the Sivers front. At the Sivers front, we have fighting reporter at Verkhovokayamsky, Zanivka. This is Zanivka is reported by the Russian Defense Ministry. Shelling is reported at Riznivkivka, as well as fighting reported at Bilakhorivka. Otherwise, that's all we have from the Sivers front. And we move further to the Kremina front. So at the Kremina front, we have fighting reported at Torske. Shelling is reported at Liman. Fighting is reported at Terny and Novosadove. So yeah, this is the usual things that we have. Torske, it looks like this. This is the forest region around Toreks. You can see the very Serebiansky forest tree-ish trees around here. This photo is very low res. Yeah, someone is having a campfire here. I think he just spawned, so no, he need know this Minecraft, right? He's just spawned. He built a fire, and then he need this survival mode. He need to dig some holes and start mining, you know, and then need to collect some woods and what, you know. Yeah, so that's all from this area. Over at the Svetove front. So at the Svetove front, in the southern part of the Svetove front, fighting is reported at Makievka, and shelling is reported at Izyumsky. There is a geolocation of Russian forces at Makievka, and this actually leads to the slight frontline change around Makievka. There's a small one, doesn't really affect anything, and that's it for this area. In the northern half, there is fighting reported in Mazuzarivka, Vishneve, and Stemakivka. The mapping by the Ukrainian side confirmed that Andreevka has fully fallen to the Russians. So the Russians have taken all these grounds. Let me redraw. It's getting a bit complicated. So the Russian forces taken all these grounds around Andreevka, and the fighting is now moving towards Vishneve, which is acknowledged by the Ukrainian side as well. Fighting is reported at Mazuzarivka. There is already previous announcement that Mazuzarivka has been captured since June. So it is still disputed at this moment. There is no evidence to show that Mazuzarivka is under Russian control. Fighting is reported at Stemakivka. Then so let's move on. We can move on from this area. Do we have any Joe thingy to see? No, I don't think we have at Vishneve. So we move away to Pischane front. At the Pischane front the Russian forces are fighting in the region of Pischane. As the based on Ukrainian mapping, the Russians are expanding their control around there. Fighting is reported in the south of Pischane towards Krylyakivka, Koleniskivka, Grushkivka, and Novoosinove. So the Stemakivka is mentioned just now. So the Russians are pushing in all directions. Pischane is one of the major offensive region at this moment for the Russians. Some geolocations doesn't really affect the front line. The Ukrainians, however, make some frontline changes. The most significant one is not this one where the Russians straighten the front line, but it's the one moving towards Koleniskivka. So this one is particularly important because the Russian forces is now merely less than 1 kilometer away from Koleniskivka. So this is getting very close. It's basically the same situation for the one at Krylyakivka, where the Russians can now attack either of the settlements. They are both within 1 kilometer. So it's very, very tricky right now for the Ukrainians. So where are the Russians going to strike? We're not sure. And so do we have a location-wise? It looks a bit like this. So this is on the western part, closer to the river. So further away, that's the river, I believe. Yeah, so this is loaded very slowly, very blur imagery. So it is a very foresty region. So yeah, not very useful in terms of that photo. So anyway, that's it from this area here. For those that do not know, Google Maps actually disabled all of these street views in the beginning of the war. It was shut off for at least 1.5 years to protect Ukraine. It's like they are trying to prevent the Russians from able to use it for intel gathering or whatnot. Yeah, which is kind of silly. And so yeah, so now they have given up, and you can actually now see these street views on the Google Earth now. I'm not sure about Google Maps. I think Google Earth, I know you can already use it. Previously, you can't. Over in the Kupiansk front, at the Kupiansk front, the Russian forces are pushing over at Petrotravneve, Stepova Novoselivka, towards Petropavlivka, Kusherivka, and shellings reported at Kupiansk. Otherwise, there's nothing special about this. So, and I wanted to show you how it looks like in the river. So this is the river at Kupiansk, and you can see that it can be frozen. This should be the river. Yeah, this looks like ice to me. So the river can froze, I guess. And this is actually the Oskil River. So it doesn't look like. So of course that's not all the river. The river is very big. Like, how about this one? So you can see, yeah, it does froze. So which means that when it's frozen, the river doesn't actually impede movement in the sense of during the winter. So that means in winter the river is actually not that big of an obstacle. The Russian forces can actually cross the river. Something new I just discovered after 2 years of covering this war. So anyway, that's it from the Kupiansk front. Over at the Kharkiv front, Russian forces are fighting at Boshkove, Volchansky Kotori, and Lipsy. And interesting is the one at Bushkove, because we don't have this as a regular thing. So this is new, entirely new, reported by the Russian Defense Ministry. The Russians are probably trying to move in a totally new area, or this could just be purely shelling reports. We are not sure what is this about, so we have to wait for more information to really confirm if this is a proper ground attack. So that's it from the Kharkiv region, and we move to the Kursk front. I forgot to pronounce Pokrovsk as Pokrovsk. Anyway, this Kursk front. At the Kursk front, the Russian forces and the Ukrainians are trading offensives. So this is the strategic view. So Russian forces are clashing with the Ukrainians at Blakovo. Ukrainians are attacking Kamishevka. And the Ukrainians are also counter-attacking over at Lyubimovka and Ogovka, while the Russians are conducting their main counter-offensive at Lyubimovka, Darino, and Nikolaevo, Darino. So, and then the Ukrainians are attacking at Veseloye, and this is Novi Put. The Russians are also attacking at Novi Put. So this is a strategic view. There is not a lot to talk about in all these very static front lines. There's not much to really talk much. Is this area here, based on the latest Russian mapping, the Ukrainians have retaken these grounds again in the southeast of Veseloye. So this according to Russian mapping. However, the Russians did insist that Veseloye is fully under Russian control. So yeah, that's it. The Russian Defense Ministry merely talking about fighting at Novi Put. This mainly is what they talk about. They don't really talk about the things happening up, in the surrounding areas. So that's it from this area. Do we have any? No, there's nothing. No, there's no street views around here to see. Do we have anything here to show you how the terrain may look like? No. This is the bird don't lay egg place. No. So the bird don't even want to lay around here. So this is a depressing place. We have the street though, so we can take a look at the street. So this you can see how big, how huge the expanse of grounds is along the road. This is towards Karenevo, I believe. Not Karenevo. This leading towards Sudja. So this along this road. So just this piece of farmland, just this farmland alone, you can see how wide, how big the amount of grounds we are talking about is massive. So this is the tree line, and you can see that you can't even see properly the whole next tree line. You can't really shoot it. It's just so far away. So this is the challenge that the Russians are facing when they're trying to push the Ukrainians out. And it also shows how much ground the Ukrainians have captured, which is why they're so happy about it. So though that this is what we are looking at, the terrain here is ridiculous. Do you have anything to show more? Let's say we take a look at the other side. You can see the other tree line is way far away. So this is the kind of open grounds that the Nazis in Germany was talking about. That when we talk about the Kursk offensive the Battle of Kursk in World War II, this is the sort of terrain. It was not so organized, so it's largely so flat. Tanks are roaming around the grounds. So this is probably the kind of terrain that the World War II have seen. So this is the big expanse of grounds, and this expanse of grounds is across the entire front line. It all looks like this. So anyway, thank you for watching. I believe I've covered everything. So thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe. So today is a bit weird because we are using a different map API to cover. So we have slightly different features. So tell me what you think. Any advice, any recommendations. And I'll see you guys in the next update.